Hey everybody, so like I told you, every day I'm not going to be singing a song or putting on a show. Some days I'm just going to tell my story, and it's a lot, so I'm going to break it up into pieces. Um, we'll call this Testimonial Sundays. So today I'm going to talk about my decision to do this. So, and I'll tell the full story at a different date. But basically, I was fired from my job of 6 years, wrongfully fired, just because I wasn't liked. And, I was out of work and I was panicking. I had my union, they're fighting for me. But in the meantime, there was no income coming in. And my brother, he lived with me, and I'll tell that story too. He lived with me and he stopped paying his bills basically in March. So I was fired in June. He hadn't paid any bills since March. And then the day after I was fired, he moved out. Okay. So he never gave me any back rent, back pay, or anything. He just left. And at that point, with all the drama and everything I was going through, I was just happy for him to leave. I'm going to take these off, you guys, because there's transitions and I don't want them to get dark and then you can't see my face. Look, no makeup today, no nothing extra. This is just raw me. So I started looking for a job in May because they sent me home on administrative leave at the end of May. I knew that I wouldn't be returning. God put that in my spirit. Like, you're not going back to that job. So the union and I, we sat and we discussed how they wrongfully terminated me, you guys, because they actually fired me saying that I failed my probation. How do you fail a probation when you've worked at a job for 6 years? So it was asinine, but whatever. So I started looking for another job. And in doing that, I also had to pull my pension so that I could pay my bills and stay afloat because I'm a homeowner. So I have a mortgage and, a light bill, gas bill. I'm single. I'm not married. I don't have any guy out there helping me. I was actually taking care of my brother, his three children, and my mother. They all depended on me. My brother, he gave me a little help, but none really substantial where he was taking on the brunt of the bills. It was always on me. So my pension didn't come until the 1st of August. So all of June and all of July, I could not pay any bills. I was already behind on a couple of bills, like, the water, the lights, the gas, the sewer, because my brother was not paying his part. So we go to Jamaica. I decided that after everything, because my mom, she's stuck with me through everything. She's my ride or die. You will see her eventually on this page. We're just trying to figure out the best way for her to be on it. So she, she just kept motivating me, praying with me. We started reading our Bible study every single night at 9 o'clock. No matter what, we get together, we sit at the dining room table, and we read in that Bible. And we started to read Psalms. So Psalms is King David, and he wasn't perfect. God used him anyway, and he went through a lot. And it felt like a lot of his story resonated with me because I felt like no matter where I went, I was hated. Hated for no specific reason because I never do anything to anybody. Like, my thing is to never hurt anybody. I try to help people as much as I can, and I love everybody. Even if you don't like me, I still love you because that's my job as a child of God. I don't like to say that I'm a Christian because that's not what Christ called it. He called it the way. Christianity is such a crazy taboo thing, and we'll get into that at some point as well. But right now I want to get back to why I started this channel. Well, I already had this channel, but why I started to post again. So we went to Jamaica, all inclusive. We did it up. We went for a week. Me and my mom, we never been out of the country, never been anywhere really. I've been all over the states, but she never had really been anywhere other than like Chicago. We went to Vegas in 2016. So we're in Jamaica, and it was just amazing, you guys. First off, we are so blessed here in the United States. Their poverty looks completely different than the way our poverty looks. Like, even if you think you are doing real bad here in the States, it is nothing. Nothing compared to what goes on in Jamaica. By the way, I'll be eating my pickles while I'm telling this story, so pay me no attention. I love pickles. Very yummy. So, while I was in Jamaica at the resort, it was just so beautiful. I would just sit outside in the little pavilion area, and I'd just be singing. I'd be, with my headphones in, I'm singing. I'm singing all these secular songs. I'm singing Rihanna. I'm singing um, Coldplay, John Legend, Robin, whatever. I'm just singing all this secular stuff. Even RuPaul. Like, I was a big fan of RuPaul. I watched all the different types of drag race. I never missed an episode. Even though I knew it was wrong, I would still watch it. And it's crazy because I would watch it and I'd be like, you wrong, but I'm about to pray for you right now. So as I'm watching the shows, I would pray. Anyway, besides the point, that's not the topic. So I'm singing in Jamaica, and all these people are coming up to me and telling me how beautiful. I'm drinking iced tea, telling me how beautiful my voice is, and asking me if I'm going on American Idol or The Voice or whatever. I've done all those things, and I've never been accepted. No one has ever wanted me but God. So, sorry. So while in Jamaica, that whole vibe, I mean, everything, it was just so amazing. And I was like, you know what? I should start singing again. That's the thing I love to do. I've been a medical assistant for 6 years. Before that, I was a hairstylist. Before that, I worked in retail. I was always doing something just to make money, to get by, and I never did what my heart wanted me to do because people always discouraged me. Family members, I'm not going to get into the specifics of who, but they would tell me, shut up singing, you sing too much, shut up. I went to Cleveland School of the Arts. My classmates would say, you're a good performer, but you're not that great a singer, and people would just always put that doubt in my mind. But that was the thing I loved to do. So I was singing Leslie Odom Jr. Standards, which I sang before, I think, but not on YouTube. But I'm going to do that again one day because although it's not a Christian song, it's not a secular negative song. It's not promoting anything but demanding what you deserve from people, which I feel like we don't do. As human beings, we don't demand what we deserve. We take what we get. So while in Jamaica, I was applying for a job at another hospital, and I got the job. Um, it was going to start. You know, I would get home from Jamaica on a Saturday. The job would start on a Monday. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. A new beginning. I'm doing this, and then there's a new beginning. So when I got back home, the job contacted me and they were like, oh, we can't find your credentials. Like, we've looked everywhere. Do you have a copy of your diploma? Now, I just moved into this house 2 years ago, and I still got a trillion boxes in my garage. That's right here. That's my garage. I'm in my car, and I couldn't find that thing. Okay. Spoiler alert, I haven't shared this with the page yet, but I'll tell you now, I do have breast cancer. In treating my breast cancer, I had chemo. Chemo changes your brain, you guys. Like, I can't remember anything. My mind used to be a steel trap, and I can remember even the tiniest detail. But now I can't anymore. I don't remember things the way I used to. So I usually write everything down. I don't know where that diploma is. I couldn't even fathom where it was. Every place I thought it would be, it was not there. So they was like, well, can you get an instructor from your school to write a letter for you? I did that, and she kindly wrote the letter. She is an amazing person. Shout out to Kavika. Love you. God bless you with everything that in your life, and I just hope that he continues to bless you. So she wrote the letter. She sent it to them. She also sent me a copy. They contacted me a day or two later and was like, okay, that letter was okay, but it's not enough. We need, some proof that you went to college. I'm like, okay. So I got in contact with the people online, and they sent me my transcripts. Of course, I had to pay for it. Nothing is free. They sent me my transcripts, and I then send it to the HR people. Like, okay, everything's cool, but we're not going to start you on the 14th. We're going to start you on the 21st. I go, okay, cool, no problem. And it's like, we're going to send you an email with all the details. So they send me the email, and the email said your start date is the 21st. However, your orientation is the 14th, and we expect you to be there at 8 o'clock on time to do what you need to do. So the 14th comes, I go to the orientation. I spend all these hours on the computer, listening to the history of the hospital, what they stand for, what they expect out of us employees, all that good stuff. I have no issue. Then we have to drive to a separate location to pick up our work ID, which we were supposed to take a picture and send it in. And I took my picture while I was in Jamaica trying to be cute, with the scenery. So I get there and I'm sitting there for hours waiting for them to call my name. At one point he stops calling names and he like, who wants to go next? So, this is the type of person I am. I jump in and I said, me, I'm next. And he's like, okay, come on up. So I go up. I tell him my name. He can't find me anywhere in the system. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Here's the email that says to be here on the 14th. So he looks at the email. He said, yeah, that's what the email says, but let's call your recruiter. So we call my recruiter, and my recruiter is like, oh, you should have just ignored that, and you should have went to orientation on the 21st. But I guarantee you guys, if I would have ignored that and went on the 21st, there would have been an issue saying I didn't show up to orientation. So he was like, well, we're not going to have you start on the 21st. We're going to have you start on the 22nd because your manager is not going to pay you for 2 orientations. I say, okay, I'm all right with that, whatever. That gives me another day to get my mind together. I can still look for this this degree that I can't find. It's in one of these totes back here. My manager, when I got home from Jamaica and I checked my mail, my manager sent me a welcome to the clinic card, which I thought was so nice. No one has ever went out of their way to be nice and welcome me. So I was like, cool, I'm excited about this. This is going to be a good situation. It's not going to be anything like my previous hospital history. So she calls me, the manager, and she says, are you willing to start on Monday? I said, sure. That's what I thought I was going to be doing anyway. She was like, yeah, you don't have to go to orientation again. You could just come straight up to our clinic. I say, okay, I can do that. So I went to the clinic on Monday. Everything was cool. When I walked in, you guys, they had signs like all around the clinic, like welcome Donchelle to the clinic. I felt all special, like, wow, I feel like a valued, appreciated member of the team. So I'm working with a specific provider. That morning when I got there, this provider, she's a nurse practitioner, she was in tears, bawling her eyes out. I don't know what happened. And I wanted to go and pull her aside and pray for her because she really was looking like she was in distress. But I was training with this float, so I had to follow him. It was a guy. So right away, you guys, I'm not a prude by any means, but I believe in professionalism. They're up in there just cussing and cussing and cussing, and I'm like, ooh, I told them I don't talk like that. They calling each other a-holes and anything but a child of God. They was calling each other. So whatever, day 1 down, still don't have a work ID. At the end of the work day, my manager comes to me and she was like, you didn't work on getting your work ID? I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to work on getting my work ID because I'm not the one who made any mistakes. You guys made the mistakes, so you should be trying to rectify that and get my work ID to me as soon as possible because I can't sign onto the system. I can't do anything. I didn't have a log on anything. So once she told me it was my responsibility, boom, okay, I'm good with that. But it's 5 o'clock in the evening. Everything is closed. So I'm calling these places, but nobody's answering. I'm leaving voicemails. I come to work Tuesday. I'm on the phone all morning because I'm trying to get in contact with these people so I can get my work ID. And they're giving me the runaround. And then finally, I got in contact with someone from HR, and she says, "Well, we only do IDs on Mondays, so you're gonna have to wait till next Monday to get your work ID." I'm like, "That is crazy. Then how am I going to work?" Like, I don't mind following this guy around, but I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 6 years. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I graduated in the top percentiles. I graduated with honors. I know what I'm doing. This is not child's play for me. And when they fired me, they didn't see you see, they didn't fire me because I didn't know what I was doing. So, long story short, I say, okay, well, let's set up for Monday for me to come and get my ID. And I go and I tell my manager this, right? And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to see what I can do on my end because you need that ID to work. And, we trying to get you acclimated into the clinic as soon as possible. I go, okay, this is Tuesday. So I'm working with the float wasn't there on Tuesday. I was by myself and my provider wasn't there. So I was just following the other people in the clinic, seeing the flow of the clinic. And one of the my coworkers, while I'm not aware, you guys, I'm not paying her any attention or anything. My back is to her. She comes up to me and just pokes me in the back. Pokes me in the back. Okay, now this is and I'm no by no means am I racist, but this is a tall. I'm 5'4". This is at least a 5'10" Caucasian woman who just came up and poked me in the back. So I'm taking away. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And they're all laughing. It's so funny. She proceeded to do it like 2 more times that day. So like in three times total, she poked me while I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't expecting it. Okay. I don't play like that. That's not, I don't think that's fun or funny. I'm 41 years old. I do not play like that, and I believe in professionalism in the workplace. I leave. Actually, my manager was like, well, you got some, because I was able to get my login information. I still didn't have my ID, but I got my login. So my manager was like, well, it's some things you need to do on the computer, so you can do that stuff, and then you can leave when you're done. I say, okay, cool. I sit there and I do all the training. And then we go and we sit down and she give me all these policy and procedure papers. And she's like, you need to read these. I'm like, okay. I'll read them when I get home. Because I don't watch a lot of TV or anything anyway. So I read the one about code of conduct. You're not supposed to be using profanity, and they were already doing that. You're not supposed to be touching anybody, and they were already doing that. And then besides the point of that, they were like talking mad trash about our manager. I go in Wednesday. Wednesday, the float is back. The same guy who was there on Monday, he's back and he's training me. But this time he's letting me like do the vitals and everything. I still don't have access to the system to put anything in, so I'm writing it down and I'm telling him what it is and he's putting it in. We go back into the common space area where we're all sitting at our computers. The same coworker who poked me in the back, he proceeds to kick her in the butt, okay, in the ASS. Oh my God, are y'all serious? What is going on here? What type of rinky-dink game is this? So then another coworker walks past and it smells like the stinkiest fish you'd ever smelled in your whole life. And I'm like, do y'all smell that? Am I tripping? Like, can anybody smell it? And they're like, oh, that's our coworker. She got mental health issues. But hold up. In the papers the boss gave me the day before, it said that you had to keep your hygiene clean and that you had to dress appropriately. So how is she able to work here and smell like a whole fish market on a sour, hot day? It boggled my mind. And our clinic was really small, you guys. I mean, this is one of the smallest clinics you would ever be inside. It's so small. The rooms are tight and cramped. My boss's office is right next to the bathroom. So I'm like weird about that type of stuff. I already don't feel comfortable going to the bathroom, but you got to do what you got to do in the 8-hour shift. Actually, 9 hours because they take the lunch out. So I'm like, oh my God, how can y'all work under these type of conditions? How is she able to come here every day and smell like that around us and the patients? Oh, we'll just go get some Glade and spray it. Glade just mask it. It don't kill it, it masks it. It actually makes it smell worse because it's like putting on perfume when you're stinky and dirty, okay? She smelled like 10 sour periods. She was just atrocious. It was wrong, and I just, wow. We're still on Wednesday. No one is putting their hands on me now because, I made it known I don't play that way. But they're still putting their hands on each other. And that's making me uncomfortable. They're also doing all this cursing and all this stuff. Now, the boss works from home on Wednesdays, guys. So she sent us all an email about cell phone policies. And they like, we ain't going to sign that. We going to act like we never got it. I signed it and put it on her desk because whatever. If I want to look at my phone that bad, I can go to the bathroom. This pickle is so good. I love a good dill pickle. So, Wednesday, the last 2 patients of the day did not show up for my provider. And we were done. And I got a call from America's Best to tell me my glasses were ready because I'm blind as a bat and I wear glasses. I got the transitions, y'all. I'm trying to be cool. And it is real sunny out here. So they say, I'm like, can I pick them up today? They're like, well, you got to get there by a certain time. Cool, but it's on the other side of the west side. I'm in Strongsville and I need to get to, Westgate. It's a good distance from each other. But not only that, I bought my mom glasses too. And hers were ready. So I had to come home, pick up my mom, and then go out to the eyeglass place. So we were done around 4. I text my manager, who up until this point has been real cool. Like she's pretending like she's just so cool and down to earth. And I text her and I say, well, can I leave a little early today? We're done. The doctor is done. She left for the day. She said goodbye to us and left for the day and everything. So can I leave a little early because I have some business to attend to? I kid you not. I sent her this text at 4 o'clock. She texts me back at 4:53. And her text read, sure, you can go this time. And this is how her voice is in my head. I don't know because it's a text. But it's like, sure, you can go this time. But for further notice, your shift is to be completed to the second of whatever you're scheduled to do. And I get that, you guys, but I don't even have access to anything. I can't do anything at this point but sit around and twiddle my thumbs. What was the point of her sending that text to me? I got off at 5 o'clock. What's the point of you sending me a text at 4:53? A snarky text. Then she goes, and you need to check your emails. I go, okay. I check my emails. And my emails are like, I like it better like that. Oh, no, I don't. Does that look too crazy, y'all? Y'all gonna have to tell me in the comments if anybody watches this. I check my email and it's like, I was able to get your ID for you on Friday. You just got to go up to this location in Westlake. I'm like, okay. So I reached back out to her and I'm like, well, it says I have to be at Westlake at 9:30. So do you want me to come in? Because my shift starts at 7:45. I'm like, do you want me to come in to work? Then I can run and go get my ID and come back. And she's like, no. Just go into Westlake and then come back. Then I find out she sent a snarky email to the coworker who put her hands on me, y'all, saying she needs to return right here as soon as she's done getting her. And this is just in my head how she sounds. She needs to return, and she needs to report to you immediately. And I'm like, okay, what happened to the nice lady on day one? What happened to that lady? Or day two? What happened to this chick? Like, whatever is going on with you, that's your issue. It has nothing to do with me. And I already felt some kind of way because I'm the only black person there. In the whole hospital in Strongsville, I'm the only black person. And I'm the only black person, the only MA there with the college degree. I'm the only one that's college educated, okay? So said coworker points this out to me. She said, "Did you see the email she sent?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Yeah, she just petty," or she called her the B word, but I'm not going to be cussing because that's not who I am. I don't do that. I can find other words to use other than cuss words. So I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Thursday, I had cadence training. For anybody that doesn't know, that's when you learn the system that your hospital uses. I've been using that system previously, though, at my last hospital, so I already knew the basics of it, and I hadn't been out of work that long, 2 months, so I kind of already knew. So that's why I was pushing to get my glasses the night before, you guys, because my old glasses were scratched up and I didn't want to miss anything. I didn't want to become a liability. So, whatever. I go get my glasses. I love them. I got 2 pairs, but this is one of my cat eyes. They're a little dirty, but I don't have anything to clean them, and I don't want to scratch them using. Well, I guess I can use my pants. Let's see how that works for me. Anyway, so I come in on Thursday, and I'm in that cadence training from 8 to 3:30. Sitting in this room on this computer, which I hate. I like to be active. I don't like to sit because it makes me sleepy. I fall asleep. So I go to take the test, and I take the test and I failed because I missed 2 questions. So I'm like freaking out because I'm an A-type personality. I don't fail tests usually. Usually I breeze through it. I'm on the first one done. So the instructor's like, "Let's go through it together." I go, "Okay." So I failed the test because I was ahead of the class. We were supposed to be looking at the status of a patient. My patient, I was able to schedule them because that's what they were teaching us how to do, schedule patients, and I already knew how to schedule patients. And she said, "Go ahead and schedule the patient." So I scheduled the patient, and one of the questions was like, "What's the status of the patient?" So, of course, my answer was the patient status was scheduled. She said, "Let's go back." She said, "Okay, now cancel the appointment, and what is the status?" And the status was ready to schedule. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I failed the test because of that. That's not my fault that I know how to schedule a patient. They couldn't schedule the patient, so she let them keep it as ready to schedule. But she said if you knew how to schedule it, go ahead and schedule it. And that's what I did. So I cried a little bit, y'all. I'm an emotional creature. I cry. I was by myself because it was the whole cadence training was on. It was online, so it wasn't like anybody saw me crying. But I was crying because I was just frustrated, and I'm like, this whole experience has been worse than my entire 6 years at my previous job. Worse. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm going up here and now I'm on pins and needles every day because this manager has flipped on me. People up here putting their hands on each other. They cussing, they stink, and by the way, the lady that stink, yes, she is white. Because I guarantee you, if she was a black woman smelling like a fish market in the hot sun in this Arabian desert, she would have been fired like that. But because she's Caucasian and has mental issues, she's allowed to stink up the whole clinic. Here was the last straw for me. After sitting in that cadence class, I had to use the restroom. I go into the restroom. There's no windows. It smells like the stinky lady. and there's brown stuff all on the toilet seat. But I have to use it so bad, and they do have cleaning supplies in the bathroom, so I had to bleach down the seat and clean it and wipe it just so that I could use the restroom. And I go home and I'm like, God, I don't think I can do this. This is not for me. And God responded, it's not for you. I already delivered you from that situation. Why are you trying to go back? Why are you trying to go back? I was trying to go back because this world says you have to work this type of job to make a living in order to support your loved ones. But God says, I know the desires of your heart. I know what you need before you know what you need. Let me take care of things. Christ said, have faith. Mark 11:22. And Jesus said, have faith in God. And I thought I had faith in God, but I was really depending on myself to come up with the solutions to my problems. First off, you guys, I still have breast cancer. So my immune system is low. I cannot be in a situation where things are dirty and filthy. Secondly, I cannot be in a situation where people are invading my personal space. You don't have a right to my space. That's mine. I give you permission to be there. Thirdly, it actually hurt my ears to listen to all this profanity. And I went back to my first day, and my provider, who they hired me specifically for this lady. We hit it off so well in the interview, was bawling her eyes out. She has to be older than me, you guys, if she's 50 or 60, and she was crying like a little bitty baby. And they kept me so busy I couldn't get to her to talk to her to find out why she was crying and what was going on. And I said, okay, it's too many red flags. Something is not right here. And then Christ spoke to me and said, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And I was like, Lord, don't nobody want to listen to me sing. I don't think I'm all that talented. But you know what motivated me? My niece and her little friend were in my car with me. And I had my music going. It was the same old Coldplay, Sarah Bareilles, Aniko. I really like her. And my niece, this little friend, these are like 12-year-old girls. She's like, you have an amazing voice. Your voice is so beautiful. And all my life, people have always told me my ministry is for children. Children always flock to me. They always surround me. I have none of my own. And that's another story that I'm going to get into one day with you guys. But children love me for some reason. And I love children. I've always wanted to be an advocate for children. Help children in any way I can. I love everybody, but I really love children because they're innocent. They have no guile. They have no hidden agendas. What they say is what they mean for the most part. So I talked with my mom. We sat down and we talked. I read the Bible. We prayed. And she was like, I'm mad that you stayed at that place as long as you did. I want to go up there and fight that girl for touching you. And I said, no, Mom, you can't fight my battles. We have to let God fight our battles. But Friday morning, I got up and I called the lady from HR who told me I had to wait till Monday for my work ID. And I just, politely told her this wasn't a good fit. Unfortunately, I will not be going further with this job at this time. Thank you for the opportunity, but it's going to be a hard pass for me. She was very kind, and she said, well, you have to give a resignation to your manager. I said, I really don't even feel comfortable talking to this lady or being around this lady. I don't want to go back to that clinic. She said, okay, but you still have to send an email. So I send the lady an email like, unfortunately, at this time, I've chosen not to go further with this position. Thank you, but no thanks. Best regards, Donshell Wright. That's my name. And so she responds like, I'm shocked. Why are you shocked? You can't keep anybody. And then I thought back to my very first day that Monday. And management said something. I don't remember what the lady said. But one of the other inmates was like, "Stop it or she not going to come back tomorrow." And I thought that was weird for her to say. And I was like, of course I'm coming back. I need the money. But do I, you guys? Does anyone need money that badly where you will work in such a toxic environment where people are treating you with such disregard and disrespect? I demand my respect. And if you don't want to give it to me, that's fine. I will just subtract myself from the situation. Um, I don't know. I just believe that God has something way better for me. I've always wanted to sing. Singing is my passion, it's my love, and it's my life. It's the only thing that brings me true happiness. And that's what I'm going to do. And it took me 41 years to realize that. And I just want to say, don't ever let anybody tell you what you cannot do. Don't ever let anybody try to beat your joy out of you, because that's what happened to me listening to all these people. But I don't listen to people anymore. I listen to God. And what God has for me, nobody can take away. Um, the battle isn't ours, it's the Lord's. And we have to lean not into our own understanding. Trust me, I am terrified stepping out on faith. I'm terrified. Yesterday I was freaking out because nobody viewed my video that I did yesterday. And that's okay. And nobody might see this today, but maybe somebody will. And maybe that one person will get what they need out of this. And what you get out of this is God didn't make no junk. God did not put us here to let people walk all over us and poke you in the back and kick you in the bud and call you out your name. God did not put you here for that. And if you're in a situation or an environment that's like that, you need to walk away. And it's okay to walk away. Yeah, you're going to be afraid because the unknown is a scary thing. Everybody is afraid of what they don't know. But I guarantee you, your peace of mind is more precious and more valuable than any paycheck they could give you. And I forgot to mention, I did take a pay cut because my last job, I was making way more than what they were willing to pay me. And maybe if they were paying me what my last job was paying me or more, I would have tried to stick it out. But I just could not do that, y'all. Maybe I wouldn't have stuck it out because nobody has the right to disrespect you. No one has the right to put their hands on you without your permission. No one has the right to call you out your name, and no one has the right to belittle you. So that's my story for today. I don't know what take as long as I took, but in college, my professors told me I was long-winded. Can't help it. I am who I am. I'm who God made. And I'm going to be what God wants me to be. And I'm going to do what God wants me to do. Sidebar. I had been having doubts about going back to the medical industry anyway because I don't agree with it anymore. These vaccines that they are giving us are not needed, you guys. They are poisoning us. The things that they are putting in these vaccines is not just a simple dead virus. Why do you need to put pig's blood in a vaccine? Why do you need to put all these metals in a vaccine? Vaccines make you sicker. Everything that we need to be healthy, God has already created and put into the earth. Doctors don't know everything. They're practicing. What do they call their businesses? A practice. They are practicing. They are not the final say. God is the final say. And I felt weird about giving shots, giving injections, drawing blood, telling you need to take this medication, telling you need to do this, and you need to listen to your doctor when I don't believe in it. That's another thing. If you don't believe in it, don't do it. Because whatever you do, you're supposed to do to 100% of your ability. And I do not believe in the medical system anymore. And that's another story. And I don't believe it on a personal basis. I was mutilated, you guys. I was mutilated. Okay? because I thought my doctors had my back, and it wasn't until I almost died last year, August 2nd, 2022, your girl almost checked out for good because of a doctor and his mistakes. And do you think that doctor apologized to me? Hecky, no. You know what he did? He blamed me. It was my fault I almost died. So I'm speaking from experiences. And I will tell you more about those things because we need to educate ourselves. We live in our bodies every single day, not the doctors. You know your body better than anybody else. Don't let anybody tell you anything. You research it for yourself. And above all, today's testimony is based off of this scripture, Mark 11:22. Jesus said, have faith in God. In all things, have faith in God. Trust in the Lord. I'm going to give you one more scripture and then I'm going to be out, you guys. Okay? And that scripture is 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. In all things, give thanks to the Lord, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. God bless you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And remember, God loves you, and so do I, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.